Alright, so here is a Jokerz MPU. So basically, just like we do all the boards, replace the power input header, the 3 power input capacitors, those had already been swapped, as well as the 2 10UF here in the sound, so I left those. However, the 22 UF capacitor here in the reset was original, so I replaced that. Resocketed the 6802 for the sound, as well as the main 6802. Both of the game ROM sockets, added an NVRAM, and also resocketed both of the sound ROMs as well. Over here in the special solenoid section, I would look out for whatever Q79 controls. That was locked on, so check both the switches and the solenoid itself. And also here, let's see, that was Q22 as well, was locked on there. So I would check out both the switches and also the solenoid itself. Well, I guess this one's just the solenoid, but anyways, we will go into test here. Get this thing powered up, and I do not have it set to free play. It's trying to move the ramp up and down. Here's the lamp matrix dancing, and displays going through high score to date. Go ahead and get this thing into a test, and it's going to tell us to check for the ramp up and ramp down, because we do not have that connected on the bench. And we'll go ahead and skip sound or the music test, so we don't have the soundboard connected here, but we can go through and test all the other outputs here of the MPU. So starting with displays, so I'd cycle the alpha on top and the the numeric on top and the alphanumeric on bottom. Or actually, no, sorry. It's alphanumeric on top and alphanumeric on bottom. And the little strobing that you see, that's just from my LEDs. So all that's working perfectly. Yeah, next test is going to be sound. We'll skip that as well. Into all lamps. And into the single lamps. Just fly through those there. And into the solenoids. So testing both A side and C side of each coil. Well, the first 8 coils, I should say. And each light indicates a coil firing, which is done through the transistors on the board, which are controlled through the CPU on the board. So everything that is being tested here is just lower voltages, obviously given that it's going to an LED, but it is testing the board the same exact way that it would inside of a game, given that everything is set up perfectly in your game as far as wiring, diodes, switches, coils, all that great stuff. It should operate exactly like it does here on my bench, which all 64 switches are reporting. And I did that in the test prior, but we'll go through this one here as well. And all 64 switches. Wheel test, obviously not going to work. We don't have a wheel connected to the bench. And that is all of the tests there, and we'll go ahead and go to adjustment 23. And we'll set that to free play so that we don't have to add a coin every single time. We'll just have to press the start button. And there you are, free play on the board. Again, lamp matrix dancing and trying to reset that ramp here, which obviously it's not going to do. But you will see these coils kind of go through a sequence and then eventually extinguish. after a long time. And it may actually stay like that since it didn't have the opto switches here on the bench. It's probably going to stay like that. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and power cycle, give it a minute, just to show that the free play is still on the board there. So there we go again with the solenoids trying to find something. And again, once we go into test, it's going to say check switches, ramp up, ramp down. It should not say this in your game unless you have an issue with those, though. Because what it'll do is it'll test the ramp once you go through in the game there. So going through coil test. And I'll show you. I've had this same thing with Jokerz, and I thought I had an issue with these solenoids. I was like, oh man, they burnt out right here on my bench. But there you go. That's whenever they extinguish. It totally came to me just now. But as you can see, everything is 100% working. And since we're in the test mode again, I'll just go through and test those solenoids. But again, everything is 100% here for you. And let me know whenever you get the soundboard connected. If we're having any issues with that soundboard, just shoot it on over. I'll build a harness there for the Jokerz soundboard. I usually just use my my standard non-specific soundboards to test those. But thank you so much.